That was a nice move by Pipkins, taking it right to the rack himself.
Wide open three, left wing, and it's good.
Nylon, the dunk likes that, Matt.
A three from the right side, and it's good! The one, Pipkins, the man, yet again.
Hello and welcome to the Flex. I'm Matt St. Jean.
And this is Joe Howie.
Merry Christmas, Friartown. I'm sitting here with my glass of eggnog, ready to preview Providence and DePaul, getting back to action after that loss to Butler. Are you ready, Joe?
Yeah, I love eggnog.
How do you take your eggnog? You just have regular eggnog straight?
Yeah, I just drink it straight. I don't like anything, disrupting it. I think it's smooth, it goes down nice. I have a little replica moose glass from the movie National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, so I always drink my eggnog out of that.
Ooh. I actually have a couple of those in shot form. But I like to take my eggnog with a little nutmeg on top. It's really nice mixed with Kahlua as well. If you wanna end the night on a nice note. We're here to talk Providence. We're here to talk Providence.
I'll end the night on a nice note if we win.
Yes. We're gonna keep things short and light for you. We know it's Christmas. We know Providence is playing DePaul. Friars coming off that loss to Butler, 5-3 on the season. DePaul 1-0. Yes, they have played only one game. So just 2 games ago for DePaul was the game last season at Providence where they got crushed in the regular season finale at the Dunkin' Donuts Center. We'll get into the starting 5. Joe, it is their second game. What do we know about DePaul?
We really don't know a lot about them except that they've had COVID a lot and that they return their leading scorer from last season in Charlie Moore. They lose Paul Reed because he was insane and deserves to play in the NBA. He was a long, positionless guy. But really, DePaul, we don't know much about them. We haven't seen a lot of them. The only thing that we know is that Charlie Moore can score the basketball and that they beat down Western Illinois in Game 1.
That they did. It was a strong performance. DePaul beating Western Illinois 91-72. Their leading scorer is, as you would expect, Charlie Moore. Now, on the flip side, Friars coming off of a loss against Butler. We talked a lot about the negatives. Are there any positives that the Friar fans can take away from that one?
It can't get much worse than that. That's the positive. I hope AJ Reeves never goes 0 for 7 from 3-point range again, and I hope that Ed Cooley never neglects Nate Watson late in the second half ever again, because Nate deserved more touches that game. But we won't dwell on that. If you want to hear us rant and rave, go listen to our most recent podcast because we really dig into it there. But PC should be looking for a bounce back win here. I think DePaul, having only played one game against a very low mid-major team, is ripe for the taking for PC. This is back at home after a 3-game road trip. This is a juicy pork coming out of the oven, a juicy ham. We'll keep it for Christmas. You're the Grinch and you're going to go steal the Who's ham. That's Providence right now, and the ham is DePaul. That's what you have to do right now. You have to go steal the ham from Whoville.
I'm liking these metaphors right there, Joe.
It's Christmas,
right? Yeah, you just gotta forget about that last one. Move on to this next one, and we're gonna move on to our next point, which is a pretty short one. Javon Freeman Liberty for DePaul. He was their second leading scorer against Western Illinois. When we did the preview for them, he wasn't even eligible to play this season.
Yeah, he put together a pretty good game tonight. 19 points, 2 of 3 from beyond the arc. I mean, he's a a forward? No, he's you know what he is.
He's a guard. Is he a wing?
He's a matchup nightmare.
Ooh.
We haven't heard that in a while. He's 6'4", 180, but I think they're playing him at the 3, if I'm correct. He's a junior. We didn't really cover him because he wasn't eligible in our DePaul preseason podcast, so I think it's going to be interesting to see the matchups on him. I'm expecting probably 6'4", maybe Duke or Bynum on him, but Again, that's an interesting little nugget for DePaul. He's definitely a piece that you'd want to have if you're DePaul.
Yeah, he is. This is a guy who's a transfer from Valparaiso, played there for 2 seasons. He set a Valpo record with 74 steals, was first team all conference defensive team honors last year. So this is a guy who can play pretty well, and that's something that DePaul has desperately needed for quite some time. And that segues us nicely into point number 4 of our starting 5, 3-point shooting. We all know about the woes that Providence has gone through. As of right now, by percentage, DePaul is the best 3-point shooting team in the country because they shot 10 of 20 in their opener.
That's oh my God. They're shooting 50% from 3 on the season so far. So hats off to them. We're completely kidding. It's only been one game. I'm sure that number is going to go down. But I mean, if we're looking at in a much more enclosed lens here, PC is not shooting 50% from 3. We're shooting 15% from 3 in our last game, and DePaul shooting 50% from 3 in their last game. So we're looking at 2 different 3-point shooting teams here. I'm expecting if DePaul was successful from beyond the arc in their last game, they're going to come into Alumni Hall thinking, let's do it again. Whereas PC is going to come into Alumni Hall with our tail between our legs like, all right, well, we can't really shoot threes very well. So I hope we still shoot them. I hope we don't shoot 26 because I don't think we can make 30% of those, if I'm being generous. I hope when it comes to where we're scoring the basketball, it's back in the paint with what works, high percentage looks.
Yeah, I think you're definitely onto something there. I don't think this is going to be sustainable for DePaul. I mean, I think this is, you play one game against the worst team. They did look very good in it, which I think was surprising given how much time they've had off. There's a lot of pent-up energy for the Blue Demons, and they really, really took it all out in their opener against Western Illinois. But odd season, the Friars now having played 8 games, DePaul has only played 1. There's going to be more of that, so we're just going to have to get used to it. Let's end the starting 5 on a fun note. Joe, what's your first thought when you hear Charlie Moore?
He is a cutie. Charlie Moore, and bear with me here before anyone starts to make hurtful comments. Charlie Moore is probably the cutest player in the Big East, and I mean that like he is baby cute. My little brother Jack, well, he's not really little. He's 14. He's in high school. We watched Charlie Moore play last. we watched Charlie Moore play last season, and he has these like chubby little baby cheeks. Like his face looks like you ripped it off of a 5-year-old, but then you stuck it on a college kid who's the same height as a 5-year-old, and you gave him a basketball and told him go have fun. That's what Charlie Moore looks like out there. He's very talented. He got first team All Big East, which is I think it's a high ceiling for him, but he could definitely fill it. But those baby cheeks, he's a cute little player. And, you know, what's even cuter is that Colin Gillespie had no answer for him both times they played Villanova, which means, like, by all standards, he's, like, at the top of my list and one of my favorite point guards. So you can screw over Colin Gillespie and you got cute, chubby little baby cheeks. That's what I think of Charlie Moore.
Oh, my goodness. See, I'm going to go in a different direction with this one. For all my Boston sports fans watching stuff on Nesson, you know what I'm about to say. Charlie Moore outdoors. Fisherman, you'd have all the Boston athletes on to go outdoors, to go hunting or fishing or whatever it was. It was always on after the Sox games. But every time I hear Charlie Moore, that's all I can think of is a white guy from Boston fishing on TV, which obviously is very different from the Charlie Moore that plays for DePaul. All right, let's move on. We'll go off the bench. Joe, you have a couple submissions here to the Big East all-name team.
Yeah, Javon Freeman Liberty. I mean, Freeman Liberty, the way it's spelled, that's just an awesome, awesome last name. He has been added to the Big East first team all names team, and we mentioned him in the preseason, but Paulie Cap, he's like the leader of that team. So this is a lighthearted podcast. We're not gonna take it too seriously, but those two guys definitely are on the first team All Big East names list. That's my off the bench fact. And Matt, yours is very interesting here. Would you like to share?
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna get to the one that we have written down here in a second. I'm just gonna. I have two for mine. One is
Well, I
gonna
wrote this
be
one. I
yeah,
wrote the one on the sheet.
yes. One of them. The last time Providence and DePaul played was actually Joe and I's only game broadcasting together, and the last game either of us broadcasted for the Friars. That was back at the Dunkin' Donuts Center in March, which was really that was our senior night too. Um,
Yeah.
so it seems like a lifetime ago at this point.
Wait, just for some clarity, it's the only game that we did full game together as color and play-by-play, because we've done
Yes.
plenty of games together, just not at the same time.
Yes. It's the only one we did full length together, which was an absolutely fantastic time. But yeah, I just can't believe it's been that long since that happened. The other one here, which is going to be what Joe wrote down, my dog eats out of a bathtub. That's technically correct right now. We
And
have
the second part?
Joe's making me say that I also eat out of a bathtub. I don't, but I'll say it for you, Joe.
Sometimes you do.
Now we got a new puppy, and she doesn't like taking baths. So to train her to not be nervous going into the bathroom, we have been giving her her dinner in the bathtub itself, which led to some interesting pictures of her standing with her feet up on the edge of the tub and eating out of a bowl inside the tub. She's quite a character as she's trying to make this adjustment. I may have to share some of these pictures with the world. By the time you listen to this, I may have put some of these pictures up on Twitter, because the world does need to see them.
I think the world needs to see the pictures.
All right, let's go down. Let's just cap this, make some predictions with this one.
Yeah, so I think Providence is due for a bounce back win. We've been on the road for 3 games straight. We haven't played at Alumni Hall since, is it November now? Or was that early December against Fairleigh Dickinson? That was early December, December 5th.
So it's been 3.5 weeks.
We are overdue for a home game. I think going home and taking the next 2 days off, presumably for Christmas and Christmas Eve, is just what this team needs. I think, you do that, you get back in the gym 2 days straight for 2, and I'm hoping they're the hardest practices of the year for Ed Cooley. But you get back 2 hard practices, and then you host DePaul. And listen, you're hosting DePaul. It's not like you're hosting Creighton or Xavier or any other power team from the conference. You're hosting the team that's only played 1 game. And that's not to downplay DePaul, because we downplayed Butler, and look what they did to us. So I think if you're Ed Cooley, the mentality here is the last time we played DePaul, we beat them by 30. Let's beat them by 40 this time. You need an offensive clinic to get your confidence back up, and you need some defensive efficiency to get your groove back. I think this is a great opportunity to do so. I think, however, DePaul is going to be eager. I say Providence by 10, 75-65.
Yeah, I'm right around where you are. I'm just going to go a little bit lower scoring. I'm going to go 70-60 Friars. Providence, I think, will get back on the horse when it comes to scoring. This is an offense that's still ranked top 50 in the nation on KenPom, and I think it should go up. I think the shooting woes won't last forever, but they're also not going to go away in 3 days. Taking a couple of days off for Christmas isn't going to fix everything. I think by the time you get to the Butler Creighton games, yes, that can be fixed, but DePaul, it's going to be still a little bit of a grinded out victory. I wouldn't be surprised if Friartown's still feeling a little bit uneasy after only beating Butler, or after losing to Butler and only beating DePaul by a little bit, if my prediction comes true. But I don't think you should be too nervous yet. It's conference play. Weird stuff happens, and sometimes you just got to take the win.
Yeah, I mean, I hope we win, because if not, then we're going to be in a serious reevaluation phase. I know that's a drastic thing to say 2 games into Big East play, but from the momentum that you built at TCU and at Seton Hall, to lose back-to-back games after that would be a real identity crisis by Ed Cooley standards.
It certainly would be, especially to inferior opponents. But I think that's going to do it for us. We'll leave you with this. Providence will take on DePaul Sunday at 4:30 at Alumni Hall. The game will be on Fox Sports 1, the only Big East game this Sunday. So make sure to tune in. For Joe Howie, I'm Matt St. Jean from The Flex. Once again, Merry Christmas, everybody. We'll talk to you after the game.
Go Friars. Merry Christmas, everyone.